Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with Daily Technical Update. Today we will start on this Tuesday, the 26th of March. We will start with Boeing, where the CEO and chairman of the board has decided he wants to step down by the year end. So it didn't bring much joy to the troubled plane makers, unfortunately. And let's start with the daily chart. As we can see here, we actually formed a bullish engulfing here a couple of days ago, last week on the 20s, taking out 4, 5, 6 days of downtrend, just above the previous trough or lows here from October last year. So a little bit of a bounce, but this didn't give much joy yesterday, and we are still in a downtrend from a technical point of view, and we are still in negative sentiment on the RSI. However, this one it's a significant one, the bullish engulfing, so maybe we could get a little bit of a upside potential to 200, possibly a little bit higher, maybe even 210, but there's some strong resistance here around 215. Looking at the weekly chart, which we actually started with, it is around these 175, 76 and a quarter lows. We can see actually a beautiful doji morning star formation over here that sparked this rally, but then it was reversed by a top and reversal pattern also here with this weird looking doji. So look out for 176. If we do get a break below 176, well, then there's not really much stopping it until we are back to the 125-ish level. To move higher, well, we can move higher in coming days and maybe weeks, but we are still in a downtrend, so it doesn't look too good for the troubled jet maker. All right, let's move on to the indices. It was a fairly quiet day yesterday, but we closed the little gap that actually created here the other day on S&P 500. We are still in this uptrend, but as you can see, we have a divergence on the RSI. It's really not supporting this uptrend. It is stretched. It's just a warning sign. It is not a top reversal pattern, but closing this gap already here yesterday is not that good a sign. Nasdaq 100, the top and reversal pattern that we have discussed so many times, is still in place, never closed above 18,417. It did open up, but it didn't close above. Still in an uptrend, key support 17,808. Moving on to the European markets, we have EUROSTOXX 50. Also still keeping itself up. It didn't close the gap, tested it a couple of times there. Let's just move this a little bit out there. All right. If we do get a close below 5,007, the 49.76 is the key support here short term. A break below, and I think just a break is enough, but a close will confirm it, and then we have a sell-off down to around 4,900 very shortly, or very fast, I believe. DAX pushing higher this morning, very strong, and is very close to cancelling its RSI divergence. 84.22, we are 83.30, so we're very close to. We are a little bit stressed, but the trend is your friend, so we are sticking with that for now. Same picture really on the Amsterdam index. It broke this falling trend line here on the RSI, meaning we are still in a positive sentiment despite the divergence. We should trust the trend, and we have this gap here that should be observed. We could just make a little note of it by and when we're talking about gaps, we're talking body gaps. It's like the candle body that is interesting, that needs to be closed for reversal of the trend. So it's the body between here 872 and 860. The CAC index stepping sideways, not really much news there. And then we have the Swiss market also between 11,800 and 11,500 and change. I think will remain so, but it is with a bullish undertone, positive sentiment. We should see a push higher. Moving on to FX as usual, I cleaned up the chart a little bit after we had the euro dollar bouncing from the 61.8 retracement and key support here around 108. I think we will see a further bounce higher. We are still in a positive sentiment on the RSI. It hasn't closed below 40. So I think we could see a bounce up to, at least we will see it up to 108.70 with the 38.2 retracement, and we have the 100 moving average here. There's a little bit of resistance here as the 55 moving average, but I think we could actually see it bouncing up to the 61.8 retracement at 109.12 around this level and the upper part of the cloud, which is also interesting that we never closed on euro dollar below the cloud either. So still in a bullish underlying tone there. Cable did actually close below the cloud, but it never closed below 126 support. It dipped down below a couple of times, and now we are bouncing. And if we can get it to close back above the cloud, well, then we could see a push towards 127, the 61.8 retracement. But it will be a little bit of a struggle. There will be some resistance. We have the 55 coming down here that will add to the resistance. But we have the 100 moving average ascending, so that will give it a little bit of lift. And you can see here also 200 moving average giving some support. So keep an eye on this level here around the upper part of the cloud, which is around the 126.70. That is the key level to look out for if it can actually break higher. On the dollar yen, I'm going to remove that just a little while there. I think we will trade sideways between 151.94, which is the previous peak, and possibly down to 150 here for a little while. It will probably try to gather some strength. I think we'll short term we will have a little bit selling pressure, and this is again, look out for that key resistance there. Euro yen so far has reached and bounced from the 38.2 retracement at 163.39. We are in an uptrend. There is divergence. You can see it's slightly tilting this one, so it is a little bit fragile. If it takes out yesterday's low at 163.31, then we could see a sell-off down to 162.17, which is the 61 retracement right here, and also the low of the lowest level of this candle where it really took off. So keep an eye on those levels. Aussie yen also stepping sideways, and we could still see a test of the 98.20 support, which is the 61.8 retracement of this uptrend here. We still have this top reversal in place. Moving on to dollar Canada, which we don't talk that much about or that often about. 136.25 around this level. We can see there's some strong resistance just above 136. It needs a break above that for further upside, and then we could actually be stuck in a range between 134.40 and 136 for quite a while. Some interesting moves again in the Swiss market, on the Swiss franc. We can see here, and I'm actually showing you both the daily and the weekly. Seems like we are having another go at the 97.75. Last week it spiked just above a little bit. We could have a push higher here next couple of days. Let's see. It is actually trying now. You can see here why it is such an important level. We have this 61.8 retracement of this down to the last leg down here. If it does break above, if it takes out the peak here from last week at 97.88, well, then we could see a push up to around the 786 retracement at 99.17 around that level, and then we also back above the cloud on the weekly one. So really some interesting moves in dollar Swiss. Here also we have dollar Swiss very close to the 786 retracement at 90.47. Some resistance there, but could spike up to 91. And you can see here also why we have that. There is the 786 of this massive sell-off there. Really strong bounce on dollar Swiss. Finally, when we're talking FX, I'm going to talk about the dollar index, 104.24. Got rejected just below, and I think we could be stuck range bound here between 102.5, 104.25, where we have these conflicting, we talked about so much, conflicting moving averages. When we can get them all in the same order, in the same direction, then I believe in a move, and it could be to the upside. But let's see, it's still a little bit up in the air. Moving on to the commodities, and gold is seems to be on the move here. The last 30 minutes at least could have another go at the 2200 here, and if it can break back above that, well, then there will be a push higher towards the 2250, possibly even higher, as I mentioned in my latest technical piece on precious metals. Key support 2146. Let's see if it can hold up. There's no there's a little bit of divergence on the RSI, but we are still in a positive sentiment, so we should move higher. Silver finding some support here at the 38.2, retracement at 24.40, 44. Could see a bounce back higher, and we are still in a positive sentiment. We should see a move towards the 26. We were very close to here last week, but there's room further higher up. But you can see how strong it is up here around 26, and 75. Copper. A little bit of correction 50% of this downtrend here could dip down to 395, but we are in an uptrend. We should see it pushing towards 425.30 in coming weeks. Moving on to the crude oils, and let's just have a look at very quickly at the WTI. Testing again the 82.56, but we are in an uptrend. There is positive sentiment, and we should see it moving higher in coming days and weeks. Brent crude, same picture really, 87.35. It got rejected here last week. I think we'll see a push higher here in the coming days, and we are in an uptrend. And finally, I'll just very quickly point your attention to something we haven't looked at for quite a long time, probably never, at least not on this show. Frozen orange juice, breaking this descending triangle pattern here. Seems to be a corrective pattern. Currently testing some resistance here around 376. If it starts pushing higher, well, then we could see a move up to 428. Maybe this is the next cocoa bubble. I don't know. We'll see about that. Key support here around 347, 345. Look out for that. But we have broken the falling trend line here. Finally, as usual, the US 10-year, well, not much to say. We are stuck range bound here, and between 420 and 435. That's all for today. Have a nice day and happy trading.